Now, the Iraqi army is not as powerful as it once was. Let's take a look at some of the problems it's facing. The U.S. announced in 2012 that it had spent $25 billion on Iraq's security forces, including 200,000 army soldiers. But there's been large-scale desertion since then. 30,000 soldiers fled from an ISIL advance on Mosul in June. In September, U.S. military General Martin Dempsey said that nearly half of Iraq's army was not properly equipped or trained. He asked for $1.6 billion to recruit and train 45,000 more Iraqi soldiers. Let's bring in Ismael Alsodani now. He's a retired Brigadier General from the Iraqi army and a former Iraqi defense attaché to the United States. It must make you weep knowing how powerful the Iraqi army was, and in the celebrations today, all that happened was a wreath was laid. What does that say about the status of the army at the moment?
Well, good evening to you and the audiences. Let me first of all remember and pay a tribute to Iraqi soldiers who pay ultimate sacrifices in this glorious day of the Iraqi army establishment. I think to answer this question, it's very important to know that Iraqi army 2011, when Americans troops left Iraq, has been not ready, incapable to assume the responsibility all over the Iraq. With the growing challenges of the insurgency in different areas in Iraq, that put Iraqi army in a position that had to fight in different areas and lose a lot of capabilities, especially
But sorry, can I just jump in here very quickly? I mean, other than fighting in many areas, they were not capable of fighting the ISIL in particular. I mean, many army recruits ran away. Why was the army not prepared, considering the U.S. spent so much time and money trying to build the army up?
You know, it's building the capabilities of any armed forces in the world. It needs effort, time, and resources. It's not a matter of putting money here and there. Armed forces to be ready has to be capable, has to have Air Force, Navy, Army, logistic support, intelligence and counterintelligence. They have the operation capabilities, planning. All of these elements has to be accomplished. All these conditions has to be existed in any armed forces in order to achieve the readiness required, so they would stand by for any internal and foreign threats. Unfortunately, Iraqi army didn't have that readiness, combat readiness
sorry,
level.
Isn't it more down to the expansive corruption that we've seen within the army? The fact that the army didn't get the equipment that the U.S. promised, that the U.S. has dragged its heels, the fact that it didn't get support from the government?
Well, let me tell you that 2014 was the worst year that passed through Iraqi army. At the beginning, Iraqi army lost Fallujah to ISIL. If you remember, at the beginning of 2014, Iraqi government tried to retake Fallujah multiple times, but they failed. Iraqi army did not pay attention too much for another expected front that may ISIS would open to them. I mean, for instance, Mosul was one of the forecasted front that ISIL will be opening. Of course, the corruption and some other circumstances and conditions has accumulated on this setback that has taken place in June 10th, 2014.
All right. Good to talk to you, Ismael Alsodani. Thank you for your time.